What is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. NBA fans out there, appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I'm going to do a couple things on this episode, and I appreciate everybody being a part of it. Lakers made two selections. They had number 17, they had number 40. We'll talk a little bit about the picks. I'm not going to try to pretend like I'm a college basketball expert, but just my analysis of what the Lakers took, the fact that they didn't trade the picks. To be honest with you, I was a little disappointed in that, but I'm going to give the front office the benefit of the doubt. And then I just want to spend a little bit of time on kind of how the day shook out. Chris Paul getting traded to the Golden State Warriors, some other things around the NBA. We'll get into all that. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. If you've been on the channel before, thank you for coming back. If it's your first time here, if you could please subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. Got a lot of people that are part of this channel, and would greatly appreciate if we can get those subscriptions up as much as possible. Okay, I'm gonna start off with this. The Lakers did make their selection, so they had, like I mentioned, they had two picks. They had the number 17 pick, and they had the number 40 pick. So the way kind of today went down, just so everybody understands, earlier in the day, the Lakers sent $4 million to the Indiana Pacers to go from number 47 to number 40. I thought, by the way, I guess that's the maximum commitment you could make as far as sending money to another team. I'm reading this off of Dave McMenamin. I thought once that went down, I thought Lakers were about to shop these two picks. They end up not shopping the two picks. And this is basically who they selected. So number 17 pick, they took a point guard. Apparently, could play point guard and shooting guard, according to Rob Pelinka, who did have a quote out there, which I'll read in a second. Jalen Hood-Schifino, Lakers took with the number 17 pick. A little bit of info on him. Again, I'm not going to pretend like I watched Indiana basketball all year. 13 points a game, 4 rebounds, just under 4 assists. Shot about 33% from the three-point line, so keep that one in mind. A quote here coming from Rob Pelinka on the number 17 pick, specifically on, I think Fino is his actual nickname, I guess you can call it. I'll read the quote here. He said, he's a lottery level talent and lauded his size, wingspan, and basketball IQ, bringing positional size to the point guard spot. Did go on to say that he's an on-ball guard, just like Austin Reeves, allowing him to play both the point guard and the shooting guard position. Okay, that's one of the picks that the Lakers had, so keep that one in mind. Like I mentioned, Jalen Hood-Schifino. The other pick that the Lakers took, and this was later in the draft, Lakers, remember, gave up the money to go move up 7 picks in the draft. So they take a kid at a Pepperdine with the number 40 pick, Maxwell Lewis. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea on Maxwell Lewis, he's a forward, 6'7". I guess the one thing that I did read, that there were a lot of people that thought he might be a 25 pick, top 30 pick, top 35 pick. So it sounds like the Lakers potentially got a steal. Shot about 30% from 3 in college. And like I said, I just go back to one thing here, and I'll continue to emphasize this. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a college basketball expert, but those who were the Lakers they took a point guard and they took a forward in this year's draft. What I really want to get into is what Rob Pelinka said. What Rob Pelinka said after the Lakers made their moves. He was asked, Rob Pelinka, on Lakers mentality on draft night, seeking trades or keeping the picks. He said, the end goal is for us to put a championship level product on the court. Sometimes you can't make all of your moves in one fell swoop, but we're really excited about how the draft panned out. So, Laker fans, this is what I want to get into specifically when it comes to what the Lakers were able to do tonight, or today, if you want to call it. So, listen, I've been vocal about this. I talked about this in another video that I talked about. I think it was probably a couple days ago now. For me, the most important thing for the Lakers is you give yourself every opportunity possible to compete for next season, this upcoming season. And it's really, really tough for me to think about life after LeBron James because I think it's going to be drastically different. So to draft young players, to try to develop them, it's a responsible thing for an organization to do. But I also think you're in a win now mode. And I think if you have an opportunity to go get players that can help you this upcoming season and you don't take advantage of that, I do think that that's a mistake. I think everybody knows that the Lakers were trying to improve the roster. I was doing my radio show this morning over at ESPN LA, and the guy I do the show with, Travis Rogers, I was telling him, I said, listen, I really, really think the Lakers want to move the picks, but I just don't think they're going to move the picks unless they feel like, hey, this is the right thing to do. I don't think the Lakers are in a desperate situation. So let's put it that way. Now, I'm going to go back to what I said. I wish they traded the picks. I wish they packaged Beasley and Mo Bamba and took some of those contracts and went out and got a sharpshooter and maybe got another big that could be a backup for Anthony Davis, or maybe even play the five with Anthony Davis, AD going at the four. And I wish they made that some type of a move like that because I think it would really, really help the roster. And I think the Lakers, to be frank, they just don't have enough talent right now, I think, to go compete with the Denver Nuggets. And whether you want to make a case that the Phoenix Suns, how good are they going to be, or the Clippers, if they're healthy, I know we always have that conversation. Whatever you want to say in regards to that, I don't think the Lakers have enough talent right now. So I was really, really hoping that they were going to use some of these picks to go out and try to get more talent. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen today, and that's the only thing that I think. Ultimately, that's the only thing that I'm paying attention to is that they were not able to go make a trade. Now, this is where I want to give the Lakers the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to do it because I think they deserve the benefit of the doubt. For me, the benefit of the doubt is this: the Lakers probably 3 months into trading for Russell Westbrook, I'm sure everybody knew they made a mistake, and they made a big mistake. And instead of just, I don't think panicking is the right way to put it, but by the way, I would have panicked just because that move was so bad and it just clearly wasn't working out. Rob Pelinka was very patient, and he didn't let the outside noise get to him. He didn't allow the fan base to get to him. He didn't allow the media to get to him. He didn't allow anybody to get to him. He kind of had it in his mind. I'm going to sit here and wait. And until I find a deal that makes sense, I'm just not going to go make a deal. I don't have to break this down for Laker fans. I think they understand it. I don't think a lot of teams are out there trying to help the Los Angeles Lakers, a franchise that already has 17 NBA championships, that um, is able to skip steps because they have a brand as powerful as they are, that they're in a major market. So I don't think there's a line of teams sitting out there saying, well, how can we help the Los Angeles Lakers? And I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers wanted to trade these two picks and wanted to package some of these other contracts they have and really wanted to go get a Buddy Hield or a Miles Turner or a Dorian Finney-Smith or a couple of these guys. But the fact that they did it tells me that Rob Pelinka thought to himself, nah, I just don't like the deals. And that part I could respect. I could respect your team wants to make a deal. Your team needs to make a deal, but that doesn't mean you have to make it on June 22nd or whatever the date is. Maybe you make it by July 1st. Maybe you make it by July 10th. Maybe you don't make it until the next trade deadline. That's not until February of 2024. Either way, I think that's where I want to give Rob Pelinka the benefit of the doubt, that the fact that the Lakers made these draft picks tells me that he's going to take his chances with a front office that's done a good job of finding guys later in rounds. They found guys that eventually were undrafted. They've done a good job in the draft, I think, further down. And there's some examples there. Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, go down the list. There's Austin Reeves, who was undrafted, Alex Caruso. They've done a good job with finding talent. And then certainly, I guess you could call it developing that talent is the best way that I could put it. So kind of a disappointing night because they didn't go out and make a move, but I also understand where Rob Pelinka is in this position. I understand that there just maybe wasn't a good deal out there. And the smart thing to do for the franchise was to draft at number 17, draft at number 40, and do as best of a job as you can to find two guys that you think can help this team for today, tomorrow, and in the future. So that I guess is my overall thoughts there, specifically on what the Lakers did today. So Laker fans, I'll throw it your way. Are you kind of like me where you're a little disappointed that they weren't able to make a trade? Did you get yourself worked up to thinking like, hey, something's going to go down here and the Lakers are going to add more talent? That's at least what I felt. But that obviously was not the deal, and that obviously did not happen. But feel free to put your comments here. What did you think of the day? What did you think of the actual draft picks? If there's some people out here that are college basketball fans and maybe you have a little bit better perspective on Jalen Hood-Schifino, or maybe you have a little bit more perspective on Maxwell Lewis, break it down and give me your thoughts there. A point guard and a forward is who the Lakers took. Okay. That's my thoughts on the Lakers' actual draft and the philosophy there. The other thing that I do want to read here is I just want to spend a quick second on this. So this went down this morning, and the trade that is taking Chris Paul to the Golden State Warriors, Jordan Poole going over to Jordan Poole. There's some draft compensation going to the Wizards as well. The only thing I really care about is how this affects the Lakers. So Lakers sounded like they had a shot at Chris Paul. It didn't happen. We know that he ends up with the Golden State Warriors. So my thought real quick on this, I think it's actually it's pretty simple. I don't really get it. I don't really understand. The only part I understand it for the Golden State Warriors is the finances. The only thing I understand is that Chris Paul is on a final year of his contract, and then Chris Paul's off the books. Jordan Poole is about to start I want to say his deal. Let me get the exact number here. I want to say it's probably even close to $140 million, something like that. So the fact that they're able to take that money off the books, 4 years, $140 million, that's really the only part that I truly understand for the Golden State Warriors. I think from a Laker perspective, I like this deal because I don't think it really changes the Golden State Warriors significantly. Where my fear was with the Warriors, and Laker fans, NBA fans, you could tell me if you agree or disagree with this. My fear with the Warriors was they were going to take Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, and they were going to package those two contracts and those two deals, and they were going to go get a real vet that is at the right age, that can have real impact on this team, maybe a player that's just got a lot more size. The Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs is because they didn't have an answer for Anthony Davis's size, Rui Hachimura's size, Jared Vanderbilt's size, LeBron James' size. Lakers had true size, and they just pushed around the Golden State Warriors. So this one, to have a 38-year-old Chris Paul join a team that already has Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, already some older players, definitely already has some guards. It's kind of a head scratcher to me. Um, I don't know how great of a fit that is. I don't know really what the role Chris Paul is going to have. Is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to be a starter? And now he's basically, you got Steph Curry running around, Klay Thompson running around, and Chris Paul makes a lot of the moves. Does this lead to another move? Is Klay Thompson about to get packaged off? I don't know. I really don't. But this move doesn't scare me if I'm the Lakers. It doesn't scare me if I'm these other Western Conference teams. That's not to say that the Warriors, I know they got championship pedigree. I know they know how to win. They got all of that. I just thought they were going to go out there and get a more impactful player rather than Chris Paul. Again, this could be just a financial play and a 1-year one with Chris Paul, but I'm not, at least at this point, I'm not really buying it, and I'm okay with the move if I'm the Lakers. I think there were some other things that could have happened out there if they went out and got Porzingis or something, and they got the size that they needed. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example. But that is not the case. They went a completely different direction, and I was surprised to hear that Chris Paul is going to be a Golden State Warrior. Okay, Laker fans, NBA fans, Feel free to give your thoughts on this. One other tweet that I'm just going to read off here real quick. Young Masuk put this out probably within the last hour. Kawhi Leonard underwent a cleanup on his torn meniscus and will be an 8-week recovery, according to Lawrence Frank. Frank said Kawhi is expected to be a full go for training camp in October. We heard Paul George's name being thrown around. The Clippers are always an interesting team. They got so much talent, but what they do from here, I have absolutely no idea. But it's all going to be about their health. Okay, Laker fans, NBA fans, appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not, and thank you for taking the time to watch the episode. Appreciate it.